How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massa Beer Reviews, back with a little bit of American Pilsner time in the form of Carton Brewing's Whip. Yeah, I actually have been trying to find this beer. Augie from Carton Brewing does a podcast called Steal This Beer, and about once a month they do like a live hangout with their Patreon members, which I am part of, and he's been chugging the shit out of these. I really wanted to find it. I couldn't. None of the places around me carried it. And I looked for a couple weeks and I was like, yeah, it is what it is. I didn't find it. I thought I would. It's an American Pilsner. I didn't think it would fly off the shelves. And what happens in life when you stop looking, do you find? So I went to a little bottle shop down in Phillipsburg and there it was. So now I get to try it. And you guys get to hear me fucking yammer about it. Label-wise, it's Carton through and through. It's what they do. Drink off the beaten craft. I have to do that every time I do one of their beers. And as far as that goes, that be light. That's even way lighter than what you expect from it. Even traditional Pilsner, even an American Pilsner. That comes off more like, you know what that looks like? Exactly looks like? It looks like hoppy seltzer water from Lagunitas. That's what it looks like. Soft, very, very soft yellow, very pretty snow globy kind of carbonation to it, almost getting to the point where it's champagne-like. White as white could be head, not going anywhere quick. Yeah, I mean, that looks light. And this is 5%. It's almost like the level of color SRM4 that you'd expect on like a non-alcoholic beer, light beer, that kind of thing. Let's get a nose. Yeah, there's not much there, but what is there is the bittering, which I didn't expect. You know? I'm not getting a big malt component, no cracker, no dough, nothing like that. It's really neutral when it comes to the malts, at least on the nose. But that bittering is there. It's not over the top, it's not 2x4 to the face, but with the malt being that small, it just lets that bittering just be a little bit more pronounced, and that's what you're getting here. It's relatively generic, old school style, like Zazie kind of hoppy. But that's it. Yeah, really small nose. Nothing even noteworthy outside of that small bitterness. Let's dive in. Cheers. This is beer. This is beer-flavored beer. I mean that in a positive way, by the way. Yeah. Man. This is beer drinking beer. This is like, okay, actually, call it the hops on here. Pilsner, on malt, Pilsner, sour malts, and Carapils, and then hops are Mount Hood, Liberty, and Crystal hops. Okay. It's a weird beer, man. It's a weird beer because I wouldn't even really classify this as a Pilsner, but they do call it an American Pilsner, so it kind of gives them the liberty of doing what they want with it. It almost has to be shoehorned into a Pilsner because I'm not sure what kind of beer classification you would put this in anyway, but we're not here to debate fucking beer classification, so I'm not going to fucking wax poetic on that for forever. It's almost like, I don't know. It's almost like a seltzer and a beer had a baby, and I don't mean like a White Claw seltzer. I mean like it has this kind of carbonation, it has this body, and it has this feel of a soda, of a fountain soda kind of thing. And the way the bittering comes off, so there's the hops that play it. There's a very, very gentle amount, or should I say, a normal amount of carbonic acid in there. But when you get so small in that hop bill, when you get so small in that malt expression, that carbonic comes up a little bit, and it's absolutely playing beautifully in this beer. I think it actually adds a component where most of these big hazies go over the top with it, ends up being a detractor. The hops come off wet green in a way that, like, the leaves, not the stock, but the leaves, like tomato-y, kinda. But it's not tomato stock. It's not as ranky-dank as that. It's got this kind of where the stock meets the flesh area, kind of leafy, man. Kind of that leafy. It's not as aggressive as like a regular weed, not like smoking weed, like pulling weed kind of thing, like a viney weed, but it's more that leafiness to where it's a little bit less, or a decent amount less. There's a nice kind of residual bittering on the tongue. It kind of lingers. It's by far and away the most kind of aggressive part of the beer and a non-aggressive beer. It's absolutely something I can drink 5 fucking billion of them over the course of a weekend. And it's kind of in that... I've said this a lot as of late, and I don't think it's because I'm leaning into it, because I want to keep repeating myself. I think it's just because it's been a lot of the beers I've had as of late have leaned in this direction. It's a beer that's interesting enough, and its volume is loud enough, even though it's a small beer, to where it's worthy of having a discussion, but it absolutely does not give two flying F's about taking a back seat and not being the conversation, facilitating and being part of, the moment, the conversation, not being the conversation, but you're drinking these while having a conversation. So if you want to talk and be like, oh, this beer is really good, it's absolutely fine. But if you just want to talk about other things, it'll be like, cool, man, I'm all good with that. I love those kind of beers. And my favorite part is, and I keep kind of dialing back to that, is the bittering on this. The bittering, combination to that kind of carbonic acid in combination with the hops, and the way it kind of comes off in this beer, it just makes me happy. Not sweet by any stretch of imagination, but not overly dry. And really does get to the point where you're almost like, is this kind of like seltzer water, potable water, or I want to drink this out of my faucet kind of thing going on in a very pretty way. Yeah, I like this. I dig this. I expected something different. Not because I read a bunch of stuff about it, or outside of hearing Augie talk about it, I actually don't know much about the beer, but I expected it to be a little bit more traditional. I don't know why. It's fucking Carton. But it's a surprising twist on a Pilsner, and I dig it. I like it. I think it's fun. Listen, I got this in a 6-pack for $11. It's gonna last like less than 24 hours. Let's put it that way. So let's talk about it. Is this one of the better Pilsners I've had as of late? Absolutely, without a doubt, no. It's not, because I don't view it as a Pilsner, even though I guess that's kind of where you'd have to put it. Is it one of the more fun, lower ABV, sub 5 or sub 5% ABV beers that I've had as of late? Yes, without a doubt. I kind of want to lump this in, even though it's 5%, I want to lump this in more with that 3 to 4% crowd. The Belgian table beers, even though they're more yeasty, phenolic kind of stuff going on there. But it's more that low ABV crusher, just want to drink a bunch of them kind of beers, but more in a crafty way as opposed to an agile lager kind of way. Belgian table beer, Belgian single, small little beers. In that sense, and the way it kind of shows itself, especially from a bittering standpoint, I really do dig that. Value availability, like I said, I think it was $11, 6-pack, and leave you with, if you like you like this. If you like crushers, just chuggers, crushers, you want to drink like 9 billion beers, this is going to be fun. This would be a really fun beer, like, you're going to go out and, like, have a barbecue, you're going to have, like, play golf, those kind of things, and everybody brings their own 6 of this kind of beer, and you just toss them in a big cooler, and you just kind of start ripping through these small little beers, back and forth. Drink like 4 different ones and cycle back and go back and forth, because I could drink this all day by itself, but it'd be cool to bounce in between a bunch of those super low ABV beers and see how they play off each other. So if you just like chugging some good beers, there you go. There you go. Another review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers. If you want to check me out doing the social media stuff, Beer Massive. Want to check me out doing the whole podcasting thing, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully you're enjoying a little Carton jam right now. We'll see you next time. Cheers.